Welcome, entrepreneurs. I'm Ann Kay on my lifelong quest, Escaping Ordinary. Join me as I interview wildly successful and rising entrepreneurs that value travel as an essential influence in their outlook and mindset, and how it helps them live happy, fulfilling lives, build successful businesses, and craft their own extraordinary lives. I'm Ann Kay, and this is Escaping Ordinary. I'm so excited about today's guest, but first, if you missed the last episode, I hope you'll check out my interview with Shelton Sonnenberg, where we discussed Warrior Unlocked, as well as his lifelong influences along the way that brought him to start the movement, becoming the CEO of your own health. Today, I'm excited and feel fortunate to have secured time with an entrepreneur that helps others build their brand communities and always seems to have an organized handle on everything. She started by creating the Stronger Mommy group page as a way to help other parents like her who have children with special needs. After building an incredible community around Stronger Mommy, she also founded Not Yet Notable, which is focused on helping coaches and course creators grow highly active and engaged communities around their brands. She has co-authored 4 books, including Million Dollar Story, which recently hit #1 Amazon bestseller in all 3 categories. And I get to call her my friend. Welcome, Chantel Turner, to Escaping Ordinary. I've been looking forward to having you as my guest during the launch week of my new show. And I'm also so excited for you about the launch of your new comprehensive program, Notable Leader Army. Please give us a little glimpse into you and an overall of what to expect from Notable Leader Army. It's so exciting.
Well, thank you so much for having me on. I am really excited to be one of the first on what I know is going to be an incredible podcast. And a little bit of background about me. I know you mentioned it briefly, but my husband and I, when we had our first and only daughter, everything was perfect during our pregnancy. And then actually she ended up having a stroke during birth. And this was not only really hard for us to process and handle all of that, but we spent 11 days in the NICU, and they kept telling us that they were applying for services, that they were going to help us financially. They didn't really apply for any of that. So I spent the first 6 months really focused on getting her as much as I could. What can I help my daughter with? What kind of doctors does she need to see? What type of therapy does she need to be in? And I didn't realize that our insurance company was not paying for a good portion of those medical bills, and that nothing else had been applied for. And so we ended up with a massive pile of medical debt. I was working full time. I was commuting about 3 hours a day, leaving her at daycare so that I could go to work, getting up at 4:30 in the morning to do all that, coming home at 6 o'clock at night. And my husband was working 80% of the year out of town. He actually travels for what he does for work. And so I felt like a single mom, overworked, exhausted. And now we had this financial burden. And even though I had a good corporate job, and so did my husband, our income just didn't cover it. And I didn't have time to get a new job. And so I actually turned to the internet. And that's where I was able to start bringing in an additional income. Along with that, I realized that I wanted to connect with other special needs parents, that I was kind of an island. I was the only person going through this that I knew that had a child with special needs. And so I looked for other groups, and what I found was they weren't really supportive. They were pretty negative, and I decided to start my own. That's where Stronger Mommy came from, was wanting to create a community of other special needs parents who would just support each other. And then after creating that incredible community and having it grow so quickly, I had people, other entrepreneurs reaching out and saying, how did you do that? How did you create this community? I know you don't have a lot of time on your hands. How did you do that in less than 15 minutes a day? And really over the last year, I have transitioned to not only supporting that community, but actually supporting other entrepreneurs, coaches, course creators, be able to build a highly active and engaged community of their own, where they can support their tribe and also generate the income that they need to continue to build their business and their brand. And so that's really where I focus now.
I know you've been helping me a lot with all of this, and I really appreciate it. First, thank you for agreeing to come back and talking more in depth about the Notable Leader Army program. And I hope you'll also come back and talk more about the Stronger Mommy and the Not Yet Notable. But right now, where it's time to get your one question that I'm asking all of my guests this week. Looking back at experiences in your life, whether traveling somewhere around the world or just across town, is there one significant influential experience you could share with us that inspired change in who you became as a result, and how that allowed you to craft successful changes in your personal life and business?
So honestly, the biggest change that happened for me was having my daughter and her having a stroke. I grew up in what people would consider a privileged life. I had a job at 15. We had to have good grades and all of that. But I did have a brand new car when I turned 16. It was a Chevy Cavalier, and you had to hand crank the windows. It didn't have any special fancy features, but it was new because my dad wanted to make sure we were safe. I always had a nice roof over my head. We dealt with our own hardships, but people would consider my life to be privileged. And so I went through a very long portion of my life where my mindset was, what can I get out of it? And unfortunately, that was just how I kind of viewed every relationship that I was in. Every time I helped somebody, it was, I'm only going to do this if the benefit is bigger for me than what I'm giving. And it's not a great, it's embarrassing to admit that that's who I was, but it is. That's who I was. I would be what people would consider like a gold digger, although I wasn't after men and their money. I was just after the benefit for me. And after having my daughter, I can't say specifically what shifted, but my entire mindset totally transitioned to how can I help someone else? How can I give? And now it's funny because I remember who I used to be so much that I'm almost like I'm so the opposite. I am insanely careful not to take advantage of somebody, that I'm like trying to overgive in everything that I do, because I know what it was like to be that person that was always just trying to take. And so now that I've had my daughter, you would think, okay, you're older, you have more responsibilities, you have this child with special needs. You probably don't get to do things like travel or live the life that you want to live. And the funny part is that since having her, my husband and I have had a better relationship. We have traveled more, we have done more. We kind of like live the life that we want when we want to now, versus when we were young and quote unquote free. We didn't have children. We didn't have, we didn't own a home. We didn't have big responsibilities. We were slaves to a job. And so I can't say having her totally changed my life in the best possible way.
That is amazing. And it's so inspiring just listening to that. I'm so glad you're coming back to dive deeper into the Notable Leader Army, but I hope you'll also come back and talk more about your Stronger Mommy program as well, because not having experience with any of that or having to deal with special needs child, I'm incredibly impressed with you and what you've accomplished and how you've really changed your life around. Okay, I'm going to ask you now to please just let us know how to reach you and what kinds of things, how people can get in touch with you about the Notable Leader Army or any of your other programs. And I'll be sure and put your links and stuff in the comments section.
Yes, the best way to kind of connect with me, if you want to connect more on a personal level, is to find me on Facebook, Chantal Paige Turner. That is a great way to connect with me. I'm always on there. And so reach out, say hello. Additionally, if you're looking to get more information on any of the programs that I run, you're looking for help in any of those, or you're looking for Notable Leader Army, which is coming, definitely check out chantalturner.com. That's going to be where the most up-to-date information is.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks for having me on.
Thanks so much for listening to this show. It's been great to have you here. And if you liked what you heard, please hit the subscribe button now, like, share, and leave a rave review below. It would be most appreciated. And don't forget to join us next week. I can't wait to introduce you to my next guest. While you're at it, head over to Facebook and join the Escaping Ordinary group. You'll find the link in the episode notes. Once you're there, you'll be able to interact with me and like-minded entrepreneurs also looking to escape ordinary. Oh, and when you join the group, you'll get a special gift designed especially for those escaping their ordinary. In the meantime, be looking for those precious gems of inspiration all around you when you're traveling the world or just going around the corner, and start filling your treasure chest of insights.